in this season of life, I feel like my purpose is to share these discussions that I've had with my wife, that I've had with myself, and that I've now had with hundreds of men and helping them get over this. That if, dude, when you step into a marriage, nobody signs up and says, I cannot wait for this thing to fail.
This is about control. Everybody knows, everyone complies. We're the kinds of pros. I don't need a plane. I just hit the road. I do what I want. I can't sell my soul. Market about to crash. This is what you chose. Ruining the country. I think that's the goal. You gonna take the mark. I take narrow roads. I'm a man of God. I can never fold.
All right. Welcome to the Protect Your Purpose podcast, where we talk whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom. I'm your host, Matt Marchese, and this is my co-host, Zach the Mustache Grady. Welcome to the show, buddy.
How's it going, man?
Going good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Today we got an awesome show. We got a badass guest today. Today we're going to be talking about certainly some family shit. We've got an influencer, a coach, and a certified badass. We've got Keith Yackey joining us today on the show virtually. Welcome to the show, dude.
We got Zach the Mustache Grady in the house. Let's go.
Zach
What's up, Keith?
There he is.
How are you, man?
Dude, that's
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fucking excited, dude. I love jumping on podcasts and sharing what I know and seeing if we can help some guys figure some shit out that I figured out. Because I know when you're in the pain that my client is in, dude, nothing else fucking matters until they fix that. So, and I've been in the middle of it, so I get it. I'm just a dude who has fucked up a lot of stuff, and from those messes, I said, "Hey, yo, if you happen to make this mess too, let me show you how to fix it." And that's literally my path, and I've got a pattern of doing that. And right now, I'm currently sharing with dudes. I teach guys how to get their wives to want to have sex with them again. I own a company called The Married Game, and that's all we're dedicated is to reaching out through the internet or through any other way possible to tap a guy on the shoulder and go, "Hey, are you struggling with your wife no longer wanting to have sex with you, and you're married and you're stuck and you don't know what to do?" Well, you're in luck, because I struggled with the same thing so bad that my wife left me. I got her back, and over the last 7 years, we've been building this thing that everybody around us seems to go, "Well, shit, I want that kind of marriage." And I'm still pinching myself, because every day I'm having to do the same work I did 7 years ago, and that is become the most attractive version of me for me and watch what happens. So that's the journey I'm on, and that's what I'm up to, and that's who I am, man.
Dude, so I heard you on a mutual friends podcast, our buddy Joel, and listening to you talk, and then I started digging into a little more of your content. Obviously, good shit. I thought it was an awesome show, by the way, and valuable. And digging in to more of your content, what I realized is that you are the ultimate purpose protector, man. I mean, if you take the path from, marriage to purpose, and those of who are married have kids, marriage to kids, and then kids to purpose, so many people, their purpose is their marriage. And if you're married, I don't know, and your purpose is not your marriage, or at least one of the key purposes of your life, you're probably going to end up fucked in that marriage. Safe to say on your end, you being the professional, I would assume, right?
Or not fucked.
Or better stated, the unfucked. Yeah, the not fucked, for sure. That's something you obviously do, is help men get their sex life on track, right?
I do, man. And here's the thing. Men want to be useful to this world.
Of course.
We don't want to. So the concept of having a purpose is really meaningful to us, because it gives us value. It gives us, like, there's a reason I'm here. And because I think we'd probably lose hope if there was, like, no reason at all. Like, I've come to this is my one simple analogy that I might hopefully will help some people. If you've ever driven down the freeway in a busy city, you probably asked yourself this question: Who the fuck are all these people? Who are?
Where are they going?
Yeah, like, and there's a tendency to go, there's no way any of these other lives could matter. Like, who the fuck are these people?
Sure.
But I've come to realize either if they don't matter, then I don't matter. But if I really think I matter, then these people must matter because I'm just one of them. Like we either all matter or we all don't matter. And it's just hard to swallow that we don't matter. So I've embraced that we do matter, which means there's a purpose for us here. And in this season of life, I feel like my purpose is to share these discussions that I've had with my wife, that I've had with myself, and that I've now had with hundreds of men and helping them get over this. That if, dude, when you step into a marriage, nobody signs up and says, I cannot wait for this thing to fail. And I cannot wait for me to hate this human being that I'm about ready to call my wife. Like, but that's how us dudes feel when don't feel loved, we don't feel seen, we don't feel appreciated. And the fruit of all of that is this physical connection. So it's kind of like this one thing that once we lose that intimacy and connection within our relationship and we know it and we go, oh, fuck, I'm now having to grovel to feel loved. I'm now having to beg to feel connected. That guy, for some reason, knows this isn't how I thought I'd feel. And as a man, I don't feel very empowered. So what the fuck is really going on here? And dude, that can cause a man to scramble and feel purposeless and feel like a failure damn near as fast as anything I've ever seen.
Man.
Do you feel that?
100%. You're going to say something, Zach?
Yeah, I just was going to say, I've listened to Joel's podcast, so I kind of know what you're about to get into. But before you get into what actually a man can do, what is your experience like? Did you go to school for this, or did you study this, or are you just a guy who has all this life experience and you've kind of pieced all this stuff together through the years?
See,
say that
proudly, the third answer, C.
Yeah, proudly.
I figured it was.
And I say that, and I say just so the people who are listening will know what that means is I've been divorced before. I had 3 kids, got divorced when I was about 28. But at that point, I'd only had sex with one human being. And then I started having sex with beautiful women. My goal was to have sex with the centerfold out of every major magazine. Did that within the first year of being newly single. Had sex with hundreds of women. So I started to learn the ins and outs of what this thing called attraction is. And when you have hundreds of the most beautiful women take their clothes off because they're excited to be with you, you learn a few things and you see things differently. But then when you finally pick one out of those hundreds of women that you go, this is the one I'm going to be forever. And then within 5 years of it, her not wanting to have sex with you and her being so unattracted to you that she says, like my wife said, you know what? My life would be better without you in it. And then packs up the U-Haul and takes her and my 2-year-old daughter and leaves.
Oops.
You start to realize that everything you learned out in the real world about short-term attraction actually only translated for a little bit until you were in a long-term relationship and something broke right there. And I didn't know what the fuck it was until she left me. And then I hired some coaches to figure out, wait, how do I get her back? Which is super counterintuitive to a lot of minds. And the advice I give a lot of guys, they're like, how can you tell me to do this? I go, because it fucking works. And your logical brain of how you think it's going to work isn't going to work because you're not fighting a logical battle. You're fighting a psychological battle. But I figured out after she left, oh my God, I don't understand long-term attraction. I don't know how to keep this thing on fire and burning even brighter at all. And I realized that our culture, society has literally conditioned us to believe that the first year or 2 of marriage is the best year because they call it the honeymoon phase. That's when you're supposed to really be connected and really be in love. Sure. And then it sounds like everything from there is kind of like it goes downhill. Well, everybody has heard that, and we've all been conditioned to kind of think that's the norm. And here I am 7 years after getting Jesse back, realizing That's not the case. Actually, our sex is getting better. Our intimacy is getting
Amen.
better. Everything doesn't mean that we still don't argue and fight. No, some of our arguments are actually deeper now than they've ever been because we know each other so fucking well. So I say proudly see because it took me a lot of very uncomfortable situations to learn what attraction truly means. And then it took me the ultimate uncomfortability of having my family literally leave and gone to go, all right, I'm missing. Now I know what the difference between short-term and long-term attraction is now, and it's one thing. We can get in that if we want to. But I wanted to answer your question and go proudly see because I've just been in the shit for a long time. And then opening my mouth and telling people, hey, I can actually help you with this. And then having helped over 300 dudes that were in my exact same spot, actually having helped them, that refined my theories and what really works. Because it's not just, okay, so this is a guy that's confident with women. No wonder he can turn this on. What about the nerd bucket? What about the socially awkward dude? What about the dude that actually wears New Balances, white socks, and clothes that are too baggy for his actual age? And you're like, how am I gonna get, you know? So I've had to learn through all the different things. So that's where I'm at. That's
Amen.
the
The school of the hard knocks and that self-taught shit is, I think it's the most valuable. I mean, I don't classic education, traditional education, it never amounts to shit. People ask me that all the time. Like how what qualifies you to teach us about life or about business or about this? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess 25 years of building my own life and documenting that and figuring out what got me from there to here. Do I need some sort of other education in order for you to believe that this is what you should fucking do?
yeah.
But I agree 100% with sort of your whole methodology. In a nutshell, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Sort of the mentality of working on yourself and not being a needy little bitch as a husband will establish your own position as a leader. And women obviously are going to be 99% of the time attracted to a man who has purpose, who is a leader. And I mean, I tell my employees, I've got over 100 employees in one of my businesses, and I try and explain to them all the time, I cannot appoint you as a leader. I can't appoint you this manager. I can give you a position, I can give you a title, but if you're not worthy of the leadership, no one's going to follow you. It's something that's earned. And how do you do that? You have to look the part, be the part, like you have to do the whole thing. And that comes with fucking being the best version of yourself. I assume that's sort of the whole premise of your program.
That's the bedrock foundation of all of it is, guys go, dude, I really want my wife to want me.
Yeah. Be wantable.
Be wantable. Yeah. Like
being wanted.
It's like, but dude, it's a virus.
Yeah.
And it's a disease. Marcus Aurelius talks about the eyes, and he talks about diseased eyes versus healthy eyes.
Mm.
And he's talking about how you look at things. And so, I think the disease of America right now that is rampant, and it was from my generation and younger. I'm 45. My generation and younger, we started to get really fucking pumped about results for shit we didn't actually do.
Amen.
And I catch myself in it all the time. Like I go, fuck, dude, like that conditioning was so deep and that programming was so put into me that you could win like the fact that you could win the lottery, like just the fact that lottery system has turned people overnight into millionaires, just the presence of that in our society causes there to be this hope that you might be the one to get this thing that you didn't earn or didn't deserve. Like there is a ray of hope. And that door even being cracked for some people has caused them to not really lean into that. If that door would slam shut and you thought there is no way in hell I'm ever going to get a good marriage, going to be able to fucking drive a cool car, live where I want to live, go where I want to go, have any freedom whatsoever in any realm whatsoever. If you just knew that there was no way in hell it was ever just going to be gifted to you and you had to earn every piece, I think your mindset would be radically different. And that is the crux of Married Game. We have two like main concepts. Number one, you're the problem, which means you're the solution.
Amen.
Hey, you're the one that didn't lift the weights, is why you don't have muscles, why she can't lust after your muscles. Guess what you can go
Sure.
do? You can
Right.
go lift weights and eat protein
Excellent.
and start to get muscles. So it's like when I realized that when Jesse left me almost 7 years ago, 6.5 years ago, um, I realized, oh fuck, I'm the problem here. Like she didn't leave for any other reason than I stopped showing up as a dude. I stopped putting in effort. I stopped really becoming the guy more and more every single day. So she could look at me and go, I don't know about this guy. I don't know
Right.
about this guy. And we can get into like what a shitball I was. But I say what a shitball I was. I bet you 95% of the dudes in here are going to go, well, fuck, dude, I'm kind of a shitball too, which is cool because you realize you don't have to be. And then the second thing that is actually probably the deepest premise that we really abide by in our world over here is her response does not dictate my standard. Her
Amen.
response only dictates how long I will put up with her living below my standard. And that shifts someone from the interviewee role. And most guys, they probably feel like they're interviewing, hoping to get a raise, hoping to get
Sure.
laid. They're like hoping to get lucky. Like all of these phrases in here are they're so limiting and so disempowering. Whereas you've got this incredibly powerful apex predator creature in man who can become these amazing things that he doesn't have to get lucky. He can actually possess the skill and the influence and the leadership ability over his wife to where she would be like, it would be an honor to serve you. It'd be an honor to please you. I'm so lucky to be with you. So you switch from being the interviewee, hoping to get in, to the interviewer, but you can only be the interviewer like you're talking about with your employees is if anybody fucking listens to you.
Of course.
What gives you the right to be the teacher? For some reason, you enrolled in my class and here you are. You can leave this class and I'm no longer a teacher to you if you decide to go. If you decide to stay, welcome. And that's the other thing too. Can I just say this? I don't think I've ever said this on a podcast, so I want to make it really clear here.
Let's go.
I don't care if you listen to me. Like it's not going to affect my marriage.
Right.
I'm the one where 69s are a favorite of ours in our family. I'm the one that has a wife that her and I sat down and said, I want to fulfill your sexual fantasies. What are they? So I can help you make sure that they happen in this life. I'm the one that has a wife where we go on dates and we really enjoy each other and we laugh so hard that we have Coca-Cola coming out of our nostrils. I figured that out going from where I did. I'm just a voice in the wilderness saying, if you struggle with that, you might benefit from this. And because I get people all the time, they're like, your view on this is shit, and your view on this, and fuck you, and fucking, and I go, hey, guess what? I'm rooting for you. If you got a better relationship, go fucking teach people how you got it. Because clearly, this world is fucked right now in terms of actual good relationships. So when someone goes, Keith, I can't listen to you, the answer is, then you shouldn't. Then you're like, I don't fucking care. All I know is this. There are men listening to this podcast or out in the world that see my ads and they go, wait, time out. This motherfucker is talking in a way that I talk in my head, but I would never say out loud.
Yeah.
And this dude's been through a worse fucking path than I've been through because his wife fucking left him gone. There was no more Keith and Jesse. It wasn't like, maybe she'll come back. I learned if you want to get her back, you got to move on. And if you want to move on, you got to move on.
Right.
So I got her back, was able to build this relationship. We still have our issues because we still are fucking human. And sometimes she pets the snake backwards and I pet her snake backwards. We know how to push her buttons like nobody's business. And all I'm saying is I figured out a few things about how to have joy in your relationship. And if you don't have a joint relationship, man, life fucking sucks, doesn't it? And guys are like, yeah, it fucking sucks. Hey, guess what? Don't you wish you could tell your wife anything and ask for anything and not be judged for it? Oh my God, I would love that. Okay, well, maybe try this. Oh, I can't do that. Well, then you don't get my results. It's like so fucking cut and dry. And I have zero attachment. Like, you know how many podcasts don't have me on? A lot
Yeah,
more do.
a lot. Oh, a couple things here. One, it's hard for me, and Zach and I, we've talked about this on our show several times. I every now and then I'll do a show with my wife. We do like a marriage podcast, or we just talk about our relationship. Um, you would be, maybe you wouldn't be, because it's actually your world that you constantly live in. I was blown away, surprised at how many people do not understand the most simple concept of, if you are not deserving of the respect of your spouse, you won't fucking get the respect of your spouse. Like,
Yeah.
it's very simple. You have to work on it. Like, would you respect you? Would you give it, like, are you driving that person? I had an old friend of mine, a female, tell me, who was on the brink of leaving her husband. She says to me and my wife, he's just not a leader. He doesn't teach me anything. He doesn't show me. He doesn't push me to the next level. He doesn't do anything. I feel like I'm constantly having to take care of him, and yada, yada, on and on. And I'm going, ooh, that's a pretty clear perspective from a spouse, from a wife. Like, I just need a man that's going to push me to the next level and be a mentor and be a leader to me. And I'm going, that's the most simple concept. And then I've, they're not close friends, but I have friends and acquaintances that I watch, grown ass men, act like children and act like babies and expect their wives to be the leaders and expect, as you put it so eloquently, blowjobs for doing what? Not being a leader. And that's why I was immediately attracted to your to your content. But I would not be surprised how many people would not want you to be on their show talking about what you're talking about. Seems pretty simple to me, though.
Dude, that's why I say yes to a lot of podcasts, because I go, if you're brave enough to have me on, I'm going to share some shit that is going to probably be highly offensive, but to actually people who like think like us, it's not offensive at all. It's just like, so time out. You're telling me that if I want this girl who could pick anybody and now she's trapped with me, you're telling me I actually have to be this dude that she would be stoked to be with? Yeah, we don't want him on our podcast. Like, okay, like the amount of hate I get for my simplistic views are so crazy. At this point, I kind of feel like it's a badge of honor to think, if I just simply say, boys are typically built like this and girls are typically built like this, and if you understand the languages, you're going to get pretty far in the game. And you, like I always tell people, you give a man a blowjob, he smiles for a day. You teach a man how to get blowjobs on tat for a lifetime, he smiles for a lifetime. What guy doesn't want to know these arts? Like, what dude is like, you know what? I love laying there frustrated, not knowing how to ask my wife for a blowjob right now this morning. What would Keith do?
We're going to get wristbands, WWKD. What would Keith do? We'll pass them out to our entire male audience. We've got a lot of females too. And that's another thing. You work exclusively with males?
We did some female coaching, and I still have female clients, but it's a different situation, because when you're coaching a female, you're like, hey, guess what your homework is this week? They're like, what? Go give your dude 3 blowjobs. It's not like you could go have your husband, hey, guess what your homework this week? You're gonna go have sex with your wife 3 times this week.
Right.
It's so the actual power dynamic of the physicality,
right,
the coaching is so much different. And so I've decided to focus exclusively and wholeheartedly on the dude, because I really understand him. And if I'm being like evaluating the numbers, I've helped a little over 300 dudes. I haven't even scratched the fucking surface of how deep this problem goes with how many men.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's my puzzle to solve, to figure out how to help more men and how to impact more men. And so I don't see myself returning back to that other vein anytime soon, except I was so happy to do it because I learned from a different perspective of what these women are going through.
I was listening to that show, Joel's show still. And that was kind of one of my thoughts were this would really help women too, just to listen to you, as you said, speaking the minds of so many, you got to assume millions and millions and millions, tens of, if not hundreds of millions of men thinking and believing and feeling the same frustration, anxiety, stress, sadness, depression, going back to your shiny object and the glory and the hope that the modern day is bringing men, the ones that believe they can't get there because they just don't understand growth, self-growth, and doing it for themselves to make themselves the best version of themselves. How quickly, I mean, it happens not overnight, but fuck, I'm actually on day 75 of 75 hard today. And every time I'm on the program, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, for like a month, in your clearest, your best mindset, the breakthroughs and the attraction that you exude to the people around you, employees, family, kids, spouse, those men go into this depression. I think it would be I call it a depression because I feel like that's what it's been for me in times. And when I look at other men and they look and feel depressed because they don't have what they want, it shuts them down. And I think for women to just understand that that's what men are feeling, that alone could help break through these relationship problems.
Yeah. Can I share a story with you?
Absolutely, dude.
All right. And dude, we actually have a pretty strong female following in our podcast, the Mary
I
Game.
imagine.
And I've learned a lot from them. And they do cheer me on quite a bit. They're like, "This is right. Where do I find a guy like that?" Or, "Hey, we've had women send their husbands to our websites and our funnels to say like, hey, you need to go listen to this dude." Okay. So imagine every guy in here, just imagine it's playoff football season. Most guys like football and their team is in the playoffs and their wife comes by and says, "Hey, I've got a sitter for the kids. I want to make you your favorite dinner. I want you to just watch your favorite football team. I want to make sure you have a cold beer in your hand. And anytime it's even close to empty, it'll be swapped out with a new one. And your favorite dinner, your favorite team, your favorite drink, all alone. Just enjoy yourself. There's one caveat, though. You have to let me suck you off at halftime or else I don't want to do it."
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out, Keith. No way.
So how many guys out of 100 go, "It sounds like a pretty fucking good deal. Let's do it"? How many? 100 out of 100, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Not a guy that's going to disagree with me on that.
Agreed.
The goal for us men, though, is to find out what is that for our women.
What is the opposite but equal interest in a woman?
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
So I call it the ball game, the burger, the beer, and the blowjob. You got the ball games on, you got your burger, your beer, and you're getting your blowjob. So what every guy would say yes to that? What would every woman say yes to? And you have to think about that for your wife and you're like, and what it is. And sometimes it takes communicating to them and telling them that story. Hey, listen, for me and every other guy, we would say yes to this. What is a scenario that you would say yes to? As when I asked my wife this, and she's like, "Send me to the day spa alone." And I'm like, how could you not? Who wouldn't want that? So like you start to think in terms of, if I want all this thing to me, am I willing to first go ahead and give that to her, find out what's meaningful to her, and then attack that as if I want her to be the happiest human on planet Earth in that realm. and go live that for a while before you start to demand anything for yourself. And what this is, and one of our concepts is lead with giver energy rather than taker energy.
Dude, I did a whole show on this with my wife about leaning into each other. If there are two people that are constantly on defense, then you're constantly taking and your spouse is constantly taking. If you both lean in, and then of course, as the man, it's my belief, whether I'm right or wrong. I don't really give a shit like you. I don't care if you agree with me. I believe that as a man, it is my job, it is my role to begin that. Give and give and give and give and give and give. Take my wife off defense. Eventually, she comes onto offense, and then boom. That's how I did it. That's how I get my burgers, beer, blowjobs, and ball games or whatever. And I don't watch. I don't. If you've heard or listened to the show, you've probably heard me talk about how I don't watch sports anymore. But
yeah, me do I, unless it's UFC or jiu-jitsu. I love that shit.
Amen. I agree with that. But getting what you want first is likely the result of giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. But I love how you put it about figuring out what the opposite but equal scenario is for your wife. Something that I've done.
And be that. And be that.
And Zach, you use that. Keith used that on Joel's podcast, was talking about most men will come home and like do the dishes or take care of the kids or do all these things thinking their wives owe them something at the end of the day for it, but they didn't really do, like you were saying, finding their alternative to that and actually dating your wife. Like you use the analogy, like when you go on a first date, what are you doing? You're dressing nice, you're looking good, you're going out on your best behavior because you're trying to get laid at the end of the night. But I think a lot of married men fall into that trap where, well, we're married now, it's an obligation, right? Like you have to have sex with me, we're married. And they just stop dating their wives or they stop doing the things that make them happy and then expect something at the end of the night when, you know, she's already checked out because you're a sack of shit. But they don't, as long as you come into it with the attitude of every day is a first date with my wife, I mean, you're probably going to get laid more times than you can even imagine, you know?
And that was so beautifully said, Zach. Like that's exactly right. And if you do lead like that and you do show up that way, the way you feel about yourself is so different than anybody praising you. You know you're the standard. You know that, as we say in Married Game, you become the catch of the county. That if this lady was crazy enough to leave you or crazy enough to not rise to a level worthy of you, then when you've been living at that standard, you then stop and go, you know, I think I need to take my efforts to another franchise.
Amen. Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it for the men. If you're in a relationship and you don't believe that you are worthy, you will not get the appreciation and the treatment of someone who is worthy. You have to believe that you are the catch of the county. I love that phrase.
This is why, like when we called it Married Game, I was thinking more about teaching married men how to have game with their wife, right? But we've actually turned it into a game.
Sure.
Like, of how to get points every single day. And what I realized was that turning it into the game was actually more important than even looking at your marriage as a game. And how I discovered that was when people get their 5 dials every single day and they're like, I'm a great parent, I'm a great partner, I'm a great producer, I'm a great player, I stood in my power with it, I'm a provocateur today. And they got their points. What it actually did was it gave them their pride back in themselves again to where they would not settle. So what happened was, I always say, if you want to get the X back, if you guys are separated or divorced or whatever, or you want to get the sex back within your still marriage, I got to teach you how to get your backbone and your ball sack back first. Because without your backbone, without your ball sack, you ain't getting shit.
It's the most unattractive shit to watch a man with no balls and with no backbone and no spine. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't understand how men don't understand this. And I see it every day. Every day. Of course you don't. Of course your wife is stepping out on you. Because you don't have a set of balls. You don't have a spine. obviously the married game, I want to know more about what the actual game consists of. I think that's interesting. I view life in and of itself as a game, and I view it as an endless game with constant and never-ending eternal levels to the game. And I like to stay at a level, and every year I like to see where I was, where did I end up, visualize the next level, and see if I can level up every year. It's what we do. I'd like to hear how you kind of game that marriage piece. But my biggest question, I guess, would be, you've worked with hundreds of men. It's very clear to me. It's something that is natural to me. Be attractive. My father was a leader. My father was a man's man. My upbringing came from men, manly men who were providers and protectors. So the whole mindset, and business leaders. So the whole mindset of leadership and being that person comes very natural to me. But I also know on the flip side of that, there are people, you know, the inverse beliefs and sort of daily operating system as me. How do you get those people in your program to adopt that leader mindset?
Pain. Pain is the professor and the prod to push more men towards the better version of themselves than anything else that's ever been created.
Sure.
It's simply that a man who is not willing to be a leader and step up for himself is sitting there going, I want the reward of that. I want my wife to want me. I want my kids to love and respect me and want to be around me. I want to be able to be so valuable to a society and to a marketplace that people would be throwing money at me to be able to have whatever it is I sell, whether it's an experience with me, whether it's a teaching of mine, whatever it is. Guys want freedom. We want it at all costs. And so the question is, it's like, all right, well, if this is what you want, and it takes a little coercing a little bit for some guys to go, yeah, I actually want freedom. They've been sold that they can't have it and it's for other people and all this other stuff. But if you get right to the core of the dude that we can help, he goes, you know what? I want what you're talking about. I don't know how to get it. I feel bad about myself for not actually getting it yet. I feel stupid that I don't have it. I feel stupid that it's not natural for me like it is for you. I wasn't raised with this. How do I was raised with some pretty manly men around me, and uncles and dads and grandpas too. So I kind of carry more of that American traditional, dude, like, yeah, I hunt, I fish. Recently I picked up jujitsu. I love this shit. Yep. But the pain can usually drive a man when he goes, I don't like this result. I cannot stand this result. I must do something different. What my job is to make that something different so attractive and so bright and so obviously the way that man will release this old narrative of himself and try to cling to this new one. And oftentimes when guys are coming in the marriage game, if I can tell they're struggling with kind of what you're mentioning, I just say, you know what? You might need to borrow my faith for a little bit, but I got enough for both of us. So, yeah, I love that. It reminds me of a conversation I think we might have actually talked about on the show, Zach. My kids, I've got, they're about to be 13. One just turned 14. So 13 and 14-year-old boys. We've moved around in the last, my wife is about to retire from the Army. So our last couple of years, we've kind of moved, and then they were in the transition from elementary school to middle school. So they went to basically 3 schools in 3 years. They're struggling with what they refer to as popularity. So I dove really deep into that word. Like, my kids said the word, the popular kids, and popular, or she's popular, so many times where I'm going, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, why are they obsessing over popularity? And what I boiled it down to is they're using the word popularity for an interchangeable word would be being attractive, being popular and being attractive. So I really had to dive into it for my kids' sake and figure out what is it that they're missing. And that it's why aren't they attracted? That's all they want. They want people to be attracted to them. And what I reduced it all the way down to is the attractive people are the people that are doing shit, specifically hard things and things that are worthy of being attracted to.
And I mean, you can scale that from being 10 years old to being 50 years old. It's all the same shit. You have to do challenging things, do shit that not everyone else is doing. And I think I would imagine, again, you're the subject matter expert for sure on this, but I would bet those guys that come through your program and our listeners who are suffering from that aren't doing shit that's worthy of being attracted to.
Yeah. Dude, it's that whole thing in our culture that wants a reward, but does not want to actually have done
of course
what's necessary to get it. And it's so deceptive. And it's like carbon monoxide poisoning, man. It's like, you can't smell it, you can't see it. And it's when it's too late. Beautiful thing is we have second chances and second hopes, but that's the question. A man's got to be honest with him. We talk about living by a code in married game, something I picked up from my buddy Garrett J. White over at Wake Up Warrior. And it's like, we live by code. And that means we got to be real. We got to be honest. We got to be raw about what we're feeling, about what's really happening here. And ultimately we have to inspect our fruit. And so if I tell a man, how often did you have sex when you first started when you were married? They're like, oh man, we were doing it all the time, honeymoon phase. They throw the joke like I'm accepted, like, okay. And how much now? And it's quite a bit less. And it usually comes with some excuses because it's shameful for a man to think that his wife actually wants him and has sex with him less than in the beginning. But that is not the way it's supposed to be, but it is how it is for so many men. Right. And so just being honest about the situation and going, I fucking hate these results. I can't do without these results. I've got to do something different. And then it's like, okay, you have to do something different. There's a doing.
Do something different.
It's doing something different. So if that means, because a lot of guys are like, they're kind of embarrassed that they have to hire a coach to figure out how to get their wife to want them. And I go, nothing that you have, like, making money is actually not a natural thing for us as humans. That money is a man-made thing that is an arbitrary store of value. So that way I don't have to walk around with 17 fucking goats on my shoulder and trade them for year 4. Like what so making money, it's a skill. Getting in shape and building muscle. Nobody got in amazing shape and go, oh, dude, I just was out there meditating on the tree and it all came to me. It like never happens. They're like, no, man, I had to learn about this and this, and I had to. So it's like there's no excellence in any other area of your life except you're supposed to naturally just have excellence in this, when actually the rules of attraction are so much different than what we actually think. They are not logical per se. Can I give you an example?
Let's go.
So I talk about short-term attraction. Slept with hundreds of women, and they're beautiful women. You know what I mean? I never took one for the team, except maybe twice.
One of us. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and I may have took one for the team twice, and it was still like, okay, all right, but this is me being a giver, motherfucker. Okay, the rest of them are the type of ladies that all the guys listen to this are jerking off to on your point. They're like that pretty. Okay, I say all that to simply say this. The truth of the matter is it's very counterintuitive to what you would think actually causes somebody to be attracted. Yes, they are attracted to muscles. Yes, they are attracted to money. Yes, they are attracted to status. Yes, there's reasons for that. But below all of that, what really girls want to do is they want to feel in such a safe environment that they can have fun.
Sure.
And it's where I came up with this concept, fun is the fountainhead. If you can figure out fun with a human being, they will love you forever because it's in their most natural state. They want to have fun. So here's the thing. I understood to get women to sleep with me, to get naked and to be giddy about having sweaty sessions with me means I had to have fun, number one. And number two, in that very context, I had options. And they all knew that I had options, meaning if they wanted me to single them out from all the other options and go, you're mine, we're going to go on our way, forget all these other people, they had better be the very fucking best version of them. Amen. Why? Because I have options. Now, when somebody says I do and they get married, most guys act as if they won the prize, they crossed the finish line, and they stop becoming the most
Game
attractive
over.
themselves. And what happens is now they lose, which is the actual lever to long-term attraction. It's not options, it's the perception of options. Perception of options means your wife knows this motherfucker can get anybody he wants. And this dude has a standard. If I don't have sex with this dude longer than 5 or 6 days, that is just unacceptable for this dude. And I would never, this man's just too worthy to get everything he wants for him to ever be denied that. And so therefore I need to step up my game. And so that's what keeps actual attraction going.
I love it. It all seems so simple to me, Keith. It
know,
all seems so simple. And I'm not out here to claim that I've got the perfect marriage. I will tell you, my sex life, to your point, is if not on fire. I mean, we're fulfilling each other's sexual fantasies. We're, as you mentioned, we're all in on each other. We're growing still. My sex life is certainly better than it was when I got married. But I'm a different person than when we got married. I'm a way better person. I'm a way better leader. I've come a long way, and every day is a wake up and push myself and push everyone around me to try to push to the next limit or the next level without being too psychotic, of course. Yeah. But it's all very simple to me. If you had to explain it to someone, it isn't simple. Like, I don't know, give me maybe a couple hundred words or less. Maybe it's a synopsis of your program. How does it work? What's the core principles? What are you pushing here?
All right. So in the most simple terms, if a lady walks up to your wife and says, "Do you think your man is cheating on you?" and she snickers and or giggles with the thought of who would want to fuck him, you've got yourself a real fucking problem, because she doesn't think of you as and what she's really saying is, I've settled being with you.
Yeah.
And if you have a woman that's settled being with you, the natural chemical of attraction is going out of her. So what happens is, and I want every guy to really listen to this, because they go like, how have you been so successful in helping men get their wives to want them again, or helping them get their exes back? And the truth is that attraction isn't a choice. When a woman walks into my life, I don't sit there and go, you know what, based off this score, I'm attracted to you. I either just feel it or I don't. Sure. And it's the same for women. They just go, something about this guy. Now, it can go a little slower for women for obvious reasons. If they get attracted to you and you impregnate them, they're stuck with that decision for the next 18 to 20 years, where you're only stuck to it for 18 to 20 seconds if you're a total fucking douchebag and you walk up. So the reason why they have to be a little more careful about this is because there's some real long-term consequences.
Sure.
That being said, the reason why I'm confident we can flip the switch back on is because they were attracted to you in the beginning. And if they were attracted to you, I mean, one guy said, my wife married me to get citizenship. I go, well, I don't think I can help you there. Like, she wasn't actually attracted to you in the beginning. Okay. But if she was attracted to you in the beginning, that means you're her type. But what happened is you either stopped doing attractive things or you started doing unattractive things. And a combination of both of those causes whatever that chemical that makes somebody get giddy. I'm 12 years into this thing and I still get butterflies texting my wife from time to time. So it doesn't have to go away. And she gets it with me. When we're really connected, it's stupid. You know what I mean? And I'm a grown man. Well, what are you doing? You're not fucking 13. But I feel like it's a fuck you. All right. So what happens is that chemical just starts to go out. They don't know what to do with it. They're like, that's why they say, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Or like, I'm not in the mood. There's all these excuses that come up because your needs are fucking like, why would she give a fuck about your needs when she feels so turned off by you? Because all that shit is gone. What I believe about and why I teach Married Game is that if you stop doing the unattractive things and start doing the attractive things again, that same chemical actually starts to fill back up without her like saying, no, I can't have that happen. No. It's a fucking biological response. She cannot stop it. It's why we have 100% success rate of people who actually do the fucking work. And when I say success rate, that means some guys actually do the work. Our 5 dial system, which I can explain in like 2 seconds, they do the work and they actually get through and go, bro, I totally settled with this lady. And we've got guys that have come through the program and actually end up getting divorced because they realized this was the best decision for them because their wife didn't like the new version of them because they didn't want to grow into a new version themselves. And they're like, well, I can't unsee all that I've seen. I can't now taste of who I am and my confidence and who I really have always wanted to be. I'm actually tasting that. I can't settle for anything else. And so what happens when we give a man his backbone and his ball sack back, the only way we do that is because we teach him how to track the things that matter every single day, which is our 5 dial system. You can get 5 points every day. How good of a parent were you? Meaning, are you actually a shit parent? Do you spend time with your kids? Do you teach and indoctrinate them towards goodness and truth? Or are you just, letting them run around like yahoos? My wife felt super unsupported by me. She goes, you're the worst dad. I don't even want to have a second kid with you. That's how bad I was.
Oof.
Now I'm excellent. The second point you can get is your partner point, and that is, does your wife feel like you're her best friend? Can she talk to you about anything and everything and feel like you're not just rushing her along, but you're actually listening to her and taking it in and saying, hey, I value you, and asking with enthusiasm. My wife said I was so lonely being married to you, more lonely than I would be if I was single. That's how bad I was. The next one is that you can get a point for being a producer. Doing something that actually moves the needle towards your business and life business goals. Yes, you're supposed to be a provider. Yes, you're supposed to be a protector. And you're supposed to produce a life you're producing a world that any woman would be thrilled to be a part of. This is why it can be so hard and why I know I'm not for everybody, because there would be guys listening and going, that sounds like a lot of work. Yeah. Only 8% of people are entrepreneurs. Because it's a lot of fucking work. But freedom is worth the fight. So the fourth thing, and this is the other point you guys can get, and it's the player dial. Are you still in shape? Do you understand romance? Are you taking her on dates? Are you actually showing up as the best version of you? Or are you wearing your dad's coat that's 3 sizes too big, and your date nights, or you going through Home Depot and fucking Chick-fil-A? And like what happened? Are you still the player? Girls just want to have fun, to quote Cyndi Lauper. Are you still fun to be around? Like, these are simple questions. And then the fifth one is, are you standing in your power? A lot of guys, like my wife, we have 3 kids, but my wife says she has 4. That means she's calling you a child. And I don't think there's any states in America where the moms want to fuck the children. It's just it doesn't get them aroused,
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that being said, it's like, are you looking for validation? Are you stuck in the mom matrix where, she feels like she has to take care of you at every step of the way? There's all these questions that are you walking in your power? Are you stating your opinion because you think it's right? Or are you changing it to be a chameleon around everybody else? So when you can score these 5 points every day, we call that becoming a provocateur. And a provocateur is a man that provokes his wife to want him.
I love that.
So it's like, dude, I know you want all this amazing, crazy, fun, awesome, titillating sex. I get it. Every guy, it's what every dude wants. We care about pussy and paychecks, man. Like, that's the 2 shit we really care about. And the bottom line is you're not going to have very big paychecks if you don't invest in yourself and learn how. And you're not going to have a lot of fucking pussy if you don't invest in yourself and learn how. Man. So here we are. They call me the pastor of pussy for a reason, I guess.
It's the pastor of pussy. Is that what it is? Oh, it's so good. Listen, my wife and I went through some rocky times. I mean, we spent 5 years plus dating, and I think we probably broke up once every 6 to 10 months. And I missed the days. At first I was sad we would break up. She would always leave me. And I know why she would leave me. It's because I wasn't doing all of the things that I'm doing now that you're explaining. I wasn't being a good leader. I wasn't being all that I could be. And she was seeing that. Women call your bluff. But I remember the energy, the high that I would get when she would leave or we would break up, and I would have to turn my game back on. I'd be back in the gym. I'd be back reading my books. I'd get back on my game. I would quickly be like, well, it's time for me to turn back on because I'm on the market now. So I got to be on my best. This way I can go get some more pussy so I can go find someone else. And the moment I was able to get another chick with me in front of her, that energy would swap. And immediately she would want it. And I would think, oh, she just wants what she can't have. The reality was she wanted me to be that person for me, not her. She wanted me to be that person consistently, not just when she left. And I realized, and you can keep that high. And I do keep that high. But I remember, and it kind of comes and goes, but I remember those are some of the best times of my life where I was really working on myself. Well, she left me. So it's time for me to go for a run. It's time for me to get my game on, start dressing right, looking the part, being the part, because I'm back in the game. And I think, I don't know, probably for your however many hundreds of men you're working with and have worked with, I would bet in a nutshell, it's probably just pretend that you lost your wife, or pretend that you're on the verge of losing your wife, or that you're have the potential of losing your wife. I tell people often, I do what my wife wants me to do. Why? Because I'm one no away. I'm one I didn't give her what she wants. I'm one I couldn't provide her the life she wants to live away from some other man fucking providing that for her. Mm. And it's a goal of mine to keep her happy. It's a goal of mine to provide for her and give her, let her, when she wants to go shopping and buy a purse, I want to provide her a life that she can go do that, instead of being that taker energy of, you can't, I don't want you buying that. Stop spending all that money, this and that. Fuck that. I need to provide the life that she can have to buy what she wants and do what she wants. I mean, I don't know. I was going to throw a disclaimer within reason, but at the end of the day, that's what she wants. She wants me to be a provider. So, man, good shit, dude. I love, I subscribe to your belief system. I'm a buyer. To our audience.
Hey,
I know.
Wait, hold on. I want to interrupt you real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I've been saying a lot lately that I believe every marriage is on the doorstep of divorce.
Amen.
Even every good marriage.
Sure. Because
you stop showing up and becoming that dude, you're the ultimate bait and switch guy. If you go, hey, I'm here for the long haul. I'm fit. I'm attractive. I'm fun. I care about us, and you're a priority. And then you start sliding back, dude, you bait and switch them the same way that the guys go, dude, my wife bait and switched me, man. We used to have sex all the time. Now that we're married with little kids running around,
yeah,
fuck, I don't get it at all. She just says she's not that into it. I don't know what to fucking do. And it's like, there's answers. There's actual answers for this. Nobody needs to be ashamed about reaching out to somebody on how to fix this. And there's a particular guy out there that you serve, that I serve. He's a high quality, high performing dude that wants more out of life. He wants to win, and he wants that win to keep getting bigger and better. He cares about that. He wants to be satisfied. He wants to be at peace. And in his relationship right now, he has nowhere to go. He's tried counseling. He's tried all the bullshit things. Happy wife, happy life, do more around the house. He's tried all these things. And he's like, what the fuck? And that's the guy I serve. And if they need help, hit us up at marriedgame.com. Reach out to me in the DMs on my Instagram if you follow me. But I want you to know there's real, true hope. Like, you do not have to suffer this alone. And eventually you can get rid of all the suffering altogether.
I love that, man. And I think for...
What's your tag on Instagram, Keith? Throw that out there.
It's just at Keith Yackey. At Keith Yackey.
Dude, I think you're teaching the program that can get you the marriage and the results that I have, that many of my friends and people that I know have, but way more often than not, people are struggling to achieve, have no idea how to do it. How to get those desired results. I think you're teaching that program. I think it's awesome. I think people should follow you. If nothing else, your short form content, hook up to wherever you're on podcast, because you're teaching some really valuable shit that will lead to the protection. I mean, if you go through your parent, partner, or producer, player, power, those are probably your purposes, and those are the ones you should be leaning into and fighting for and fucking protecting against every war that's out there to kind of keep things together. That's what we believe in. I love that you're doing that. Before I let you go, I know we're short on time here. I have one question that I ask all of our guests, and that question is, what is your purpose?
I've got one that I've kept throughout the entire through a long time, and I think I'm gonna continue to keep this one until it changes.
Let's go.
And it's really simple. I want people to feel better about themselves after having met me. That's it. Like I want you to feel like amazing after walking on this and going, you know what? Because I met that guy, it made me think of myself differently, and I can do this, or I've done this and I'm proud of myself, or I have got hope for myself to do something, whatever it is. And that's just a joy for me, because I know what I've accomplished in this, and I know how much shit I fucked up. Like it never gets old that people go, I want to hear what you have to say about this. And go, cool, because you're not going to ask me about these other things, because you don't want to hear what I have to say about the other shit, because the other shit I'm probably pretty fucking dumb in. Like, genuinely, like, that guy's an idiot. But this, I take it. It's a deep honor, and I want to affect everybody that comes into contact with me, little or small.
Bro, you did that, and your purpose is being fulfilled, man. You're making an awesome impact on people. You got great energy, and I know it's rubbing off. It did me too. That's why I immediately was like, I fucking need this dude on my show. He's going to be great for it, and I know you are.
Let's go. Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome, dude. We'll talk again soon. Take care.